my financial thermostat. And so I raised it to where I was at, I made $100,000 a month. It was the first time I made $1 million in 1 year. In 2018, I was in foreclosure, okay? But then I raised it to $1 million a year. I made $1 million a year. Wait a minute. If I could raise my financial thermostat to $1 million a year, I could make $1 million a month. My first $1 million a month. Let me raise that thermostat again so I can make $1 million a week. I made $1 million a week. Wait a minute. I'm on to something. If I could raise that financial thermostat to make $1 million a week, I could make $1 million in a day. And I had $3 million days. Not in revenue, cash money in your pocket. Not in sales.
Net profit.
Net profit.
What's going on, family? Welcome to the Past Podcast, where we prevail against self-sabotage. Proudly sponsored by Project Icon. I'm your host, Mo Nelson. Let's go!
Too long and you had went against that grain. Had to go and get that fade. Waiting on visitation today.
What's going on, family? Mo Nelson checking in with that Past Podcast, where we prevail against self-sabotage. Proudly sponsored by Project Icon. Today, y'all, I got a powerhouse. Y'all gonna thank me for this one. Who I got with me today is a gentleman that comes from humble beginnings. I'm talking about an impoverished neighborhood deep in the trenches of Newark, New Jersey. And today, a very wealthy man. I mean, this gentleman has been seen on the Forbes list, Forbes magazine, $1 billion worth of game, in the Breakfast Club. And guess what? Today, he's here on the Past Podcast. Family, give it up for my man, Rabu. Gary, what's up, man?
Yo, Mo,
how you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me,
Yeah,
man.
man. Hey, man, thanks for having you. Thanks for being here, man.
It's all good, man.
Dang, well, I love that you're here, man. We about to jump right into it, man. You ready for this? Because it's about to be a profound conversation.
Hey, let's rock and roll, bro. That's what I'm here for.
Y'all ready for it? All right, let's go. Starting off, for the people who don't know who Rabu Gary is, who are you, and why do they call you the Harriet Tubman of financial freedom?
Okay, so the answer to who Rabu Gary is, I'm you. That's it. Rabu Gary is you. So if you're watching right now, I'm you.
Okay.
Okay, so we all breathe the same air. We all want the same things for our family, love, trust, and respect. You know, so I'm not anybody special. I'm every person who's watching this podcast right now. You know, now in reference to why people has affectionately labeled me the Harriet Tubman of financial freedom is because I'm adamant about helping people become financially free. And whatever that means to them. You know, for some folks, financially free means to be able to pay a little bit of bills. I don't think that's cool. Not judging. I don't think that's cool. For some folks, financially free means to be comfortable, so I can feel comfortable. I'm not judging, but I think that's a road to disaster. You know, but financial freedom to me is when you can help others and it doesn't hurt you. Because, you know, I live my life by that motto. I believe in loving people and leveraging money, you know, and so to help people become financially free is the number one goal I have in my life. My wife gets upset when I say this. Been married for 25 years, but she gets upset when I say it even supersedes, you know, her and my children because they are part of the goal.
Right.
So everybody I touch, I want them to become financially free, and that's how I, you know, got that label, and I'm serious about that.
I got you. I appreciate that, man. So, you know, kudos to you for the status that you have obtained and worked hard on, being so humble. And I love that, man. I say that all the time. I tell people when people try to, you know, give me kudos and congrats about my accolades, I always say it's nothing special about me. I was just willing to remain steadfast and do the work. I didn't quit. As the same thing happened to you, you just didn't quit.
Right.
People don't understand. Like, I was just having this conversation with a great friend of mine, and I was telling her that, you know, people see you. They see the glory, they see the riches, they see the wealth, the car you drive, the house. But they didn't see all the turmoil and hurdles you had to go through and endure to obtain this. And 9 out of 10, Rabu, if they would have seen it, if they would have seen the neighborhood you was brought up in, all the difficulties you had to endure, a lot of them would have quit.
Absolutely.
But they see you. Some of them envy, some of them congratulate. But for the ones that's envying, it's like, you don't know what this man done went through. Yeah, he on the Breakfast Club and all that. But you know what he had to invest to get there? The hard work. So kudos to you, man, for the hard work. So I really appreciate you for that, brother.
Appreciate it.
You already know. So before the success, before the money, what was life really like for you growing up?
Okay. You know, it's interesting. I don't like to give a sad story because it was just a process. It was just life. And if I could have my kids' life right now, boy, would I have had it. But But I sit here today with like $30,000 worth of dental work, for an example, because back in the day we didn't have the best insurance, and this is not a knock to my parents. They did the best that they could with what they had, but they weren't as studious about me, taking care of my teeth, so to speak.
Right.
So and those are challenges that are in the hood, especially the hood I grew up in, and so and that's major, especially when you want to become a public speaker and you get in front of people, and so that's something I had to invest in, years ago.
Right.
Something as simple as that. It was a challenge, but my challenge was no different than anybody else's that grew up in North New Jersey or South Central or South Side of Chicago or Compton or LA, so on and so forth. All hoods are the same. It was just tough and lacked resources. But one thing that we did have, and I'm very thankful for it, we had community, we had love, we had education. And because of community, love in the household, and access to education, and different experiences, meeting people who had made it out, those were foundations that helped me and a lot of other people.
I like that. You said something very key at the end, man. Meeting people. And Rabu, I tell a lot of people, for everybody who knows my story, know about Mo Nelson, I'm a convicted felon. I got sentenced to 15 years in a Florida State prison. And I went in at 16. I didn't get out till I was 29. And I understand it's okay that initially certain doors and opportunities may be closed because of my history. And that's why it's so beneficial for me to network, to have that social currency, because I come to realize when somebody likes you, Rabu, like if you like me right now, and initially this opportunity you got from me may be a little challenge for me to get in because of my past. But when you really like Mo, I'm gonna make something happen for Mo.
Absolutely.
Whatever I gotta do, I know this opportunity ain't for people like Mo in this situation, but I like Mo so much, I'm gonna open that door. And that has happened for me on countless times. And that's why I always stress network and have a magnetic personality, have good, true character, because doors and opportunities will open up for you, man. You feel what I'm saying? And it looks like from what you alluded to, by you knowing people and meeting people, that opens some doors for you that helped you be in the situation that you're in today, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
And I even say to your point real quick, why you have, number one, you have an infectious, electric, cool vibe, okay? Right. And people, real recognizes real. And so when folks meet you and want to chill with you or learn with you or build with you, they understand, even when you talk about your past, they've had a past too. When did they die and become God? You understand what I'm saying? So a good person with a good heart,
sure, they're
like, now with me, I'll say this, and there's somewhere I draw the line. God forbid, somebody's a two-time pedophile, then I'm sorry, we ain't.
I can't do that.
If God says, Rabu, you got to forgive them, I ain't forgiving that one. Exactly. So that one I ain't doing. But for the most part, man, people are human.
Yeah. Or if it's senseless killing. Like if you out just killing people for no reason.
Right, correct.
I ain't raping women. I can't. You know what I'm saying?
It's somewhere we draw the line.
Yeah, we got to draw the line in the sand. Yeah, we on the same page. We on the same page, brother. I got you. All right, so what was the moment where something clicked for you? Maybe a person, a conversation, or experience that changed how you move?
Wonderful. Okay, I love this. I love telling this story. I was in high school. I was a freshman at Bellsburg High School. It's no longer high school anymore in North New Jersey. My first day in class. Now, I was living in Florida at the time in Orlando because my dad was in the military, so we lived in McCoy Annex, Naval Base. I ended up going to Glen Ridge Elementary School. I would have went to Winter Park High School, but we went back up north because my parents split up. So my grandmother put me in a school, a good school. Okay, I tested into some other schools, but she wanted me to go to this one because we're close to the house. So that first day of school, this teacher named Mr. Green, he put a quadratic equation on the board, a math equation. He said, if anybody in this room could get this answer, I'm going to give you $100. Now, I guess he did it every year. Now, when I went to school in Florida, because my parents was breaking up, I had some issues, and that sometimes can impact on children. And so I used to show out. I didn't get the best grades in class, but I was learning. I didn't get the A's and B's, but I was learning. So when he put that equation on the board, I got it in like 3 seconds. He gave me $100, and they labeled me the smart kid from that day on. And from that day on, I went on to graduate high school with honors, get a free ride to college because, and I was making C's and B's in 7th and 8th grade, but from high school on, I was damn near 4.0 because he labeled me. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
They labeled me as a smart kid. So you have to be very careful how you label children. They didn't label me as a badass kid. They labeled me as a smart kid. And so I lived up to that label, bust my behind, studied, want to keep that label because that recognition felt good, and ended up graduating high school with a free ride to anywhere I want to go.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. When you said that, that reminded me of the names. That's why you got to be careful of nicknames and what you name yourself and kids and stuff like that, because we live up to these names.
Absolutely.
And it's funny that you say that, because when you were saying, I was like, dang, man, when that happened, you identified a superpower within yourself that you were unbeknownst to. It took that scenario for somebody to draw that power out that you were unaware of,
right?
And look at it, and then now when you identify it and you're aware of it, you're like, man, I'm pretty, I'm starting to feel yourself in a great way.
Absolutely.
And then that propelled you to ascend throughout your academics, throughout school. So that's awesome. That is a great life-changing moment, man. Big ups to you.
I got many of them, but that was the first.
Yeah, that was the first one. And did that moment have any type of impact or effect on your financial success moving forward in life?
I guess it did, because I became money motivated.
Making how-to videos used to take me hours. I'd record, mess up, start over, and edit forever.
And from that moment, I figured if I did good in school, if I did good in work, if I did good in any project that was brought in front of me, I would make money. So that helped me become money motivated and understand that it was okay to make money if you did the right thing. And I think that moment right there, helped propel me into millions of dollars looking back.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That you got a book, right?
I co-authored a book that sold over 50,000 copies.
Okay.
I was a contributing editor. He's since passed. His name is Ron Mueller. We wrote a book that was authorized by Congress and the IRS. We help people save on taxes.
Wow.
I still have the book, actually. I'll get it to you.
Okay.
We no longer sell it because tax laws change every year.
Gotcha.
But because of that book, I was recognized by the Bush administration. I have a flag that was flown over the Capitol building after 9/11. And I was also recognized by the Obama administration. I have some cufflinks that was given to me while President Obama was in office, because of the work we did by helping people save on taxes.
Man, that's what's up, man. Big ups to you, man. How was it meeting Mr. Obama?
Well, I didn't meet him.
Oh, you didn't meet him?
I met his folks, the administration.
His folks. Okay.
Oh, man, that'll be a dream come true.
That'll be a dream come true, man. Mr. Obama, we coming to meet you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make some room for us, man. And that's amazing, though, man. Like, I can see it. And, it's funny that $100, because how old were you at the time?
I was 13 years old. 14 years old.
Yeah, bro. $100. If you live in the right way, $100 is a lot of money for a 14-year-old.
It's $1 million to me back then, man.
That's what's up, man. Did you, like, if you was to see that teacher today, what would you tell him? Would you let him know that you're part of the reason why I'm in the position I'm in?
I did. I gave him his flowers before he left this earth.
Wow.
When I went to college, and after I graduated college, I went back to the school. Actually, that same school transitioned to a school called Westside High School. And if you go to my high school and you graduate Westside High School and you go to Rutgers University, where I went to school, you get a $5,000 scholarship from me. This is the second year we've done it. Thank you, Principal Akbar Cook. For an example, tonight, Redman is in town tonight. Redman and I went to the same high school. So Redman was principal of the day 2 years ago, and I was principal of the day last year. And they did an incredible documentary of it. So I went back to that school before Mr. Green passed and thanked him, and since then, I still give back to that school no matter what. So if you graduate Westside High School in Newark, New Jersey, and you go to Rutgers University, you get a $5,000 scholarship from me every year. If I can't afford to buy 2 sticks of bubble gum, you're going to get a $5,000 scholarship from me.
I got you. It's too late for me. I'm 36. How can I?
I mean, go back to high school.
Now, that's what's up, man. I appreciate your philanthropy, brother.
That's all good, bro.
Okay. Now, I'm an emotional intelligence advocate. I love emotional intelligence. That's what I'm so predicated on.
Absolutely.
Emotional intelligence, EQ. So I got to ask a man some questions predicated on emotional intelligence. What emotion showed up the most during your journey? Fear, doubt, impatience. And how did you have to learn to manage them?
I had a fear of success.
Yeah, wow. Talk to us.
Yeah, I had a serious fear of success. And it was funny because whenever I started to do something good or get excess, things would fall apart. Let me tell you how deep this was. my fear of success got so deep that I wouldn't go buy things from Costco's or Sam's Club where you get things in bulk. I wouldn't want to get my car fixed because I figured as soon as I get it fixed, it's going to get broken. I didn't want to have excess because every time I had excess, it got snatched away. So it became a point where, because of mentors, man, I got hand walked into making $1 million. In 2004, I didn't really start to study their teachings to 2009 because I was scared of the success that I was going to have along the way, because I was scared that if I hit that level of success, it would disappear. Today, it's gone. There's no fear. So the only thing, it wasn't impatience, it was fear. It was fear of doing very well and all of that being stripped away.
Yeah, I like that. When you said that, that reminded me, I forgot what book in particular, but it talked about having an abundant mindset and then having a scarce mindset.
Absolutely.
At that time, that's what you had. You had a mindset of scarcity because it's limited. I don't know if I can obtain this. If I obtain it, lose it, and all these, the negative, the pessimistic, aspect of your perception.
Well, yes and no. At that time, I'm reading all the positive books in the world. I'm sitting at those seminars. I'm at the Anthony Robbins thing. I'm at the John C. Maxwell thing. The part I'm like learning, and I'm getting it. And I would hit these pinnacles, but it wasn't scarcity. It was fear that, again, once I make it, I'll get knocked down another level. I knew it was obtainable, but I figured I would get there and I get knocked down another level. Then I have to go, then knock, then go, then knock, and this. And then, I raised my thermostat. I talked about that the other day, my financial thermostat, where I set the bar here. Then there was no opposition. There was no more fear. So it was never a scarcity mindset. It was a fear that I can do it, but I'm going to lose it because that's the way it's supposed to be.
So two things. So I want you to elaborate on the thermostat because I feel like that's very valuable for the audience.
Absolutely.
But first, what changed now? Like, how do you manage that fear now? Like, what?
I have no fear now. I only fear God.
Why?
Because I was able to continue to work hard and hit different levels. And after 4 or 5 times of not falling back, I was like, yo, I'm good. I started to experience success at high levels and nothing got taken away. Right. Now, do we hit lumps and bumps? Absolutely. I once heard a pastor say, you're either coming out of a valley or you're going into a valley, okay? Sometimes your valleys just get shorter and shorter. So we all have life experiences and life happens, but not to the degree that I fear losing anything anymore, because I've crossed that chasm. I've gone through the pinnacle and there's other places to go, but my going back is like, hypothetically, going from making $1 billion to 500,000. That's my going back. They ain't going back.
Yeah. You know how many people would die, kill for that? That's like your worst day with your fear is somebody's best. That's their pinnacle. Well, you talking about what? 500,000? Yeah, man. But that's a blessing that you reach that. You reach that pinnacle of the thermostat. And I want you to elaborate that because I want the audience to really get that value. So talk about that, please.
Yeah, and I appreciate when we met. At the I like to call it symposium, the expo, and I had a chance to elaborate on the financial thermostat. And this is so important. I do a course, I train, and I learn from a multi-billionaire, and I don't change anything up. I don't put it in my words. I don't try to put my twist to it. I don't try to make it where people can get it from me. They get it raw and uncut directly the same way I got it. And at one time in my life, I'll say this to reference to everyone out there. You have a thermostat and you have a thermometer. So a thermometer is used to gauge the temperature. So if I put a thermometer in my mouth right now, it'll be whatever my temperature is. If I take a thermometer, put it outside in lovely Florida, it'd be like 75 degrees. In New Jersey, where I just left, it'd be like 18. Okay, the thermometer is going to tell you the temperature. Well, thermostat dictates the temperature. And so at one time, my financial thermostat was turned down. My belief was $100,000 was successful. And growing up, I remember when I got my first job at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Well, I got many jobs, but my first job at a college was at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And when a friend of mine told me I could make $100,000 a year, I was like, I'm in, because I thought that was success. And I had my mind locked on $100,000 a year. Then I joined a networking company at the time called Prepaid Legal Services. Now they're called Legal Shield. Great company. I was locked on making $100,000, getting a $100,000 ring. And that's when my thermostat was locked on. No matter what happened, Mo, I could make 115,000 thinking I'm going up, I would drop down to 80. I could make 120, I drop down to 90. I could make 105, I drop down to 95. Because that thermostat was set on 100. If it got hot in the room, that thermostat pulled you back down. If it got too cold in the room, that thermostat pulled you back up because it was set on 100,000. When I learned what I teach in my master class, how to properly set goals and take these to the next level, I raised my financial thermostat. There's a deliberate way to do that. And so I raised it to where I said, man, I can make $100,000 a year. I mean, $100,000 a month. I made $100,000 a month. Then I raised it to $1 million a year. I was with a company called World Global Network in 2017. Was the first time I made $1 million in 1 year. Now in 2018, I was a foreclosure. Long story. Okay? But then I raised it to $1 million a year. I made $1 million a year. Then I said, wait a minute. If I could raise my financial thermostat to $1 million a year, I could make $1 million a month. Made my first $1 million in a month. I said, well, hold up. If I can make $1 million a month, let me raise that thermostat again so I can make $1 million in a week. I made $1 million in a week consecutively for like 4 weeks. Then I said, wait a minute. I'm on to something. If I could raise that financial thermostat to make $1 million a week, I can make $1 million in a day. And I had $3 million days. Not in revenue, cash money in your pocket. Not in sales.
Net profit.
Net profit. And so...
That's substantial, brother.
Yeah, man. So I started to raise that financial thermostat. And there's a way to teach people to raise it. I do mentorship, some on hand and close. And then I do some through my course. But I show people how to raise that financial thermostat. And it works for everybody.
Awesome. Well, at the end, man, we definitely want the opportunity to tell them people where they can get the course, because I'm sure a lot of people are interested, because I'm interested right now. So we're going to say that for the end.
Sure.
The office and service that you got, man. But that's awesome, man. $1 million in a day, bro. And I hate to sound contradicting and hypocritical, because you just, gave the analogy with the thermostat. But I'm just being honest. Right now, I just can't see it. Right? I know it's possible, but $1 million in a day. And you did it, and there's plenty of people that did it. But dang,
you just
awesome
cursed
feat.
At me just now.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Rabu.
Because I'm here to tell you that you can see it.
I can, yeah.
Not only can you see it, if that's something you want to do, I'll show you exactly how to do it. Yeah. Now it may take 5 years, it may take 6 years. It took me from 2009 all the way to 2020
it's
to
not
do
instant.
It. I don't know.
It's not microwave.
No.
Take some nurture and develop it, put it in the oven for a little bit.
Absolutely.
At 550, 450, and just let it sit for a couple. Okay.
And the reason why you can do it, because I've done it, so if I know how to do it, I can show you how to do it. I remember this story I heard once. This lady, she was walking, and this person that fell into a hole. This guy was in the bottom of a hole, and the lady was walking by, and the dude was like, "Yo, could you help me out of the hole? Could you help me out of the hole?" So she kept walking. Another dude walked by, saw the dude in the hole. He's like, "Yo, could you help me out of this hole?" They tried to put a ladder down there, the ladder wouldn't reach. So that dude said, "I'm sorry," kept walking. This other lady came by. The guy said, "Can you help me out of the hole?" And she said, "Yeah, I can help you out of the hole." She jumped in the hole with him. So now he's like, "Yo, now we both gonna die." She's like, "We're not gonna die. I've been in this hole before. I know the way out." You see what I'm saying?
I like that.
See, I've gotten there, so I can show you how to get there.
I like that. I know initially, man, what the heck, man? You know what to say.
Like, why you jumping in the hole? Now we both gonna die. She's like, "I've been in this hole before. I know the way out. Let's go."
I like that, man. That's special, bro. That's special. All right. So, looking back, what behaviors or habits were holding you back, and how did you stop getting in your own way?
All right, what's the most valuable thing you can do as a trader? I would argue the single most valuable thing you could do is find one high conviction trade that you feel good about placing. See, so many people spend all this time on analysis.
In the inception of your financial journey.
Absolutely. When I was in college, and may God rest in peace, my grandmother. My grandmother was a great person, but she's a get-over artist. So I loved her, and she meant well, but she didn't allow me to take full responsibility for my own shortcomings. She would cover up for me. Now, we grew up broke as hell,
Mhm.
but when I mean cover up for me, I remember one time I was in Newark, New Jersey's synonymous with stealing cars.
Mhm.
So we were breaking in cars at one time. I was in high school. We weren't even stealing the cars. We were taking the car radios. Because back in the day, people had pull-out radios.
Mhm.
So they would park at a parking lot, jump on the train and go to New York, but leave
Yeah.
the radios underneath the seat.
Mhm.
So we would steal them. So we're on my block in my car.
Mhm.
We had still already like 8 radios, and we would take them downtown Newark and sell them to a sneaker store.
Mhm.
So we're stealing these radios, and the last one was on my block. It was a Peugeot that belonged to a police officer. He was inside the fire department, and he watched us break in his car, steal his Peugeot, and my license plate, what he saw when he drove off.
Mhm.
So the police came to my house the next day, and because they saw the license plate, and they said, well, this license plate was saw, and my grandmother came to the door. My grandson ain't do shit. And my mother was like, no, because my mother's working a different program.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, he did. If you saw a license plate, and took me and got me locked up at 32 Green Street by Officer Yablonsky. I remember like it was yesterday. Okay? And so one thing that held me back then is I took on a lot of my grandmother traits, them get over traits. And when I got to college, I got kicked out of school. Even though I had a free ride, I could go to everywhere I applied to, I got accepted. From Princeton to Harvard, you name it.
Mhm.
But when I got to college, I still had those get over traits. Didn't go to class as much. Cheating on exams and so on and so forth. Even when it came to girls, lying to big yourself up, I had to get honest with myself that I was full of shit. And when I got honest with myself, it felt good to talk with integrity, to not worry about what you're saying because somebody's gonna catch you in a lie.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, man, because I was a get over artist at a young age.
Yeah.
And then in 2001, the game changed.
Yeah.
The game changed.
Yeah.
I started reading personal development. I got connected with some good people. And I said, the days of lying and being, because it's corny, being somebody that you're not, those days are over. And I like cold turkey.
Yeah.
And it was over. And that was the one thing that I believe held me back. And that was back in 2001. Maybe if I'd have had this level of integrity and better character, man, I'd be far more advanced to where I am today. However, everything happens for a reason.
It happened for a reason, bro. You went through what you went through for a specific reason. And I'm going to say this. It was up to your discretion to transition a negative into a positive, because some people like to say things are ordained. It was already pre-written. I really personally disagree, because it wasn't written that I went to prison. I went to prison off a piss poor decision that nobody put a gun in my head and made me do. I did. I took on that choice, took on that action, and there's consequences to it.
Right.
But also, now that I'm in prison, it doesn't have to be bad. I can make it good depending on how I approach it. And I approach it in a positive way, and look at the results I reap. Same thing like you. And you just confirmed, because what I said on the previous episode is that I feel that everybody needs to go to prison or have a near-death experience, because it changes your perception. You appreciate life more, and it's a piece of humble pie. Because sometimes we can be feeling ourselves, even with money. Like you say, you was a get over. You was cultivated by your grandma to always get over for what you seen, and that was a way of life until something happened. And it's like, whoa, we're not entitled. The world doesn't revolve around Rabu. No matter how much money you make, the world doesn't revolve around Mo Nelson.
Right.
We all need to get aligned and just balance sometimes. So that's great that you went through that and you made the most out of it. And I know that character that got developed at that time, that permeates through all your business and personal endeavors.
Absolutely.
And that's why people trust you. Because I trust you, brother. I just met you, but I trust. I know it's genuine. I know if I was to invest in you in some type of mentorship or program, I know I'm going to get what it is that you say I'm going to get.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, brother. All right. So in your own words, you kind of alluded to it at the beginning, but I want you to elaborate. In your own words, what is financial freedom?
Financial freedom, in my own words, is having excess. It does God no joy for you to struggle. It does God no joy for you to struggle. Okay?
I like that.
Financial freedom is where you can be abundant to everybody and you can help people. Now, you do it within reason.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be smart about things. But financial freedom is not worrying about your bills. I'm worried about my bills. My bills are paid, you know.
Yeah.
Financial freedom is freedom to being on a budget. Some people think a budget's like going to jail is like being restrained. No, it's freedom to be on a budget. Because I know how much money I got to spend when I want to spend. You know?
Yeah.
Financial freedom is, for me right now, having 3 generations of money if my kids don't mess it up. If they don't mess it up, their grandchildren will be okay if they don't mess it up.
That's awesome.
You know? So financial freedom is going where you want to go, when you want to go, with whomever you want to go. I always tell people, if you can't take a month off work without being a little tight, then you're not financially free. If you can't take a year off work without being a little tight, then you're not financially free.
Gotcha.
You know, so financial freedom, and it encompasses a lot of things too, because it also impacts your health, it impacts your zip code,
Yeah.
it impacts your safety.
Yeah.
You know, not saying that stuff don't happen everywhere.
Yeah, but the probability.
The probability is much lower.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. I appreciate that, brother.
Mhm.
All right. So, what's one misconception people have about money that keeps them stuck?
That it always comes.
What do you mean by that?
Some people think that I could always find a way to make money. And what happens is that may be true. But if you're the main reason why the money's coming, eventually you're going to slow down. That's why you find so many people on fixed incomes. They grow older, maybe they got some Social Security, maybe a pension that really doesn't exist anymore today, or maybe they did a 401k or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. I have multiple businesses right now. The reason why I have multiple businesses, because nothing lasts forever. As soon as I pop up one, another one could fall.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's one of the biggest things. And then lastly, adding to that, enough people don't find their way into the investment quadrant. Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert
I've had a
Rich
chance
Dad, Poor
to
Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's the first book I read cover to cover in my life.
Yeah.
Even after graduating college with 2 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
The I quadrant, you know, the investors quadrant. Most people don't even know about it.
Yeah.
And even the ones that know about it, it's like, investing is too risky for me.
Yeah.
If you don't learn how to invest or find something to invest in, you're going to work for the rest of your life. Whether you invest in a business or invest in a corporation, whatever, you're going to work for the rest of your life. And that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So as far as investing, can you give us some tips that you actually utilize when you see a potential investment? How do you know if it's a good investment or not?
Okay. Well, first of all, always follow the 1/3 rule. Okay, it's called the Rabu 1/3 rule. It was published in Forbes.
Okay.
Okay. Find something that you can invest in that's going to make you some extra money. Well, let me back up. Let's say you got a job. Let's say you have a job and you have maybe the time and energy to do something on the side that's going to make you some extra money. I don't care what it is. Maybe washing the car, maybe walking the dog, babysitting, just some extra money.
Yeah.
Once you get that extra money, you have to find somewhere to invest it. Okay? I started with $400, bro. Cat's like, oh, I need a whole bunch of money. No, you don't. I started with $400. Okay? So you find this money. When you have this extra money, you break it in thirds. So let's say right now I work for AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
I go to job, I make $250,000 a year. My bills is paid, I got some extra money. I take this extra money and I break it in thirds. 1/3 goes towards any debt that I have. Car note, mortgage, credit card, student loans, no matter what. 1/3 of this extra money, not what I was, let's say I was already paying for a car note. 1/3 of this extra money is going towards that debt. The other 1/3, you take it and you reinvest it in something else so it can make more money for you. That last 1/3, you cut it in half. No matter what country you live in, there's some type of taxation system. So you take that last 1/3, you cut it in half, put a little bit aside for taxes, and then the other piece, go burn it, go spend it, have some fun, instant gratification. Me, where I have no debt, I have no mortgage, I have no car notes, I have no debt, I don't owe anybody on the planet. So eventually, now I have to do my 1/3 a little different. I don't have anything to give debt to. So 2/3 now goes into investments, and the other 1/3 piece for taxes, and the other piece I play with.
Got you. So that 1/3 rule helps you as far as investing. So it's no, because I read a plethora of books, and when we talk about investing, is look at the balance sheet, look at the income statement, et cetera, et cetera. Do those play a factor, or you don't even?
It does. It does. So, for example, one of the reasons that we met through Kevin. Kevin connected me. I met Kevin through my man Alex, boy's wife. Okay, and I'm in the process. It'll be finalized at the end of this month. Buying a salon, a hair salon. It's Suites, and it's 9 of them.
Yeah.
And it's called Infinity Suites. Great gentleman who I'm buying it from. I'm doing a 7-year lease with the owner there, so I'm buying the business, not the building. And so I looked at the balance sheet. I need to know what were your expenses. I don't want to be that guy to come in and raise, because they're little suites. So I don't want to come in and raise everybody booth rent, $50, $100, whatever. So I said, what's the lowest that I could charge these folks so they can live their lives? Okay, based on what he's charging right now, even if I have to raise a little bit. But what are the expenses? What's the air conditioner? What's the boom, 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 boom? When I looked at everything, I walk with $4,200 a month. That ain't bad.
That ain't bad.
So I looked at the plus and minuses, and that's what you need to do for businesses. And then also timing. Timing is very important in businesses, because right now, let's say, people moved into suites after COVID. A lot of people started doing suites. Now, some people are like, I want to get back in the shop where I can kick it with everybody. But then some people like the suite thing. So trends are timed also. Time is very important. So timing, the balance sheet, location. Right now, Ybor, where we're at right now, is a great location for having a restaurant or something like that. I don't care who you are, you're going to make some money here.
Yeah.
So location
Prime
factors in. Absolutely. So then your age may factor in too. So there are factors that we should look at when investing, but no matter what, find something to invest in.
All right, so that leads to my next question. For someone who's starting to make a little money, what are some smart things they could be doing? Because I know you're not a fiduciary, so you can't tell them. You can't tell somebody what they should do. What is something they could do from a consulting point, and why?
Okay, this always get me in trouble. That's why I have a great legal team.
Okay.
By law, I'm looking at you guys. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a fiduciary advisor. So I'm not licensed to tell you what to do with your money. What I can do, and this is 1,000% legal, I can post on my Instagram page, my Facebook page, my socials, exactly what I do with my money. If you choose to follow, God bless you. If you choose not to follow, God bless you. But I don't take L's. Well, let me back up. I take L's, but I've taken enough L's to know now how not to take L's.
Gotcha.
And so, like I said, I started with $400. Right now, our site is being revamped. By actually be done next week, but I probably won't roll it out till the beginning of the year. You can go to my website, not the one I'll give you today, but the other one. You can go there and find any opportunity you want in the crypto space, in the nutrition space, in the health and wellness space, in the real estate space, and in the trading space. And you could choose. You could pick what fits you.
Yeah.
And what I do, I vet companies, and I travel the world, and I have a good board, and we look at different opportunities, and I put them up there. And we're called the Social Club. We're called UIGISC, UIGI Social Club.
Yeah.
And we came together, just people during the pandemic. We were like, yo, we need ideas to come up with some money because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
No one knew what was going on. So we just came up with all these ideas, and people filter every day, Mo. Someone reaches out to me with an idea to make some money every day. I turn down more than I ever would jump in. Okay, because I get evaluated. We look at our board, and sometimes I make mistakes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on Facebook. I'll show you what I'm doing. That's all I can do.
I love that. We appreciate that, brother. I love that. Yeah, that's I like how you worded that, man. Appreciate that value you just gave to the guest right there. Because I'm definitely gonna be watching. You know what I'm saying? Because I always, I had some success with money, and like you said, it's funny because you said sometimes things slow down, and that's what happened with me. I had a proverbial car rental business here in Tampa Bay called Vans Air Car Rentals, and it's still up, but it's not making as much money as it was when I first started. My first year, I made over $500,000. And that to me was a lot because I'm doing independent, no tour road, just me. Ground, boot to the ground, boosting my social media, word of mouth, etc. But the intricacies started setting in. Accidents, insurance stuff, all that good stuff, and then started to kind of
stolen cars.
these stolen cars, started to be an anchor and all that. But I'm still grateful. I'm grateful for the experience. But now I'm transitioning on other ways of because I'm used to a certain lifestyle. I'm just being honest. I'm used to a certain lifestyle, and growing up, I was spoiled. Even when I did my time in prison, I was spoiled. I wasn't hungry in prison. I had a great support system. That shout out to my mom and my family that always put money in my book. So I feel like I just know what it's like. Not saying I never experienced hardship, but as far as I know what it's like to be treated as a king and a pampered. So I like to perpetuate that lifestyle. So I'll definitely be tuned in to your Instagram and seeing some smart ways I can do my money, because I'm always looking to invest in how to make my money work for me, because I don't like work either.
Absolutely.
So, George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Ben Franklin, y'all can work for me. I ain't doing the work. Put them to work. So I definitely appreciate that. So, and we talked about it before.
Okay.
And I hope you share, what is the biggest money mistake you made? And I hope you remember what you told me at the expo. I want them to.
Biggest money mistake.
If you don't remember, I'll remind you, but.
The Cardi B concert?
The Cardi B concert.
Now
if it's a different one, you can say it. But if that's that, elaborate.
It's a Cardi B concert.
Okay, elaborate.
Now I love Cardi B. It's not negative to Cardi B at all. It had nothing to do with her. It was just poor planning. And I called it the Cardi B concert because it was a Cardi B concert.
Mm.
I lost $1 million in one day.
Mm.
Now my mentor, Holton Bugs, told me not to do it. My man Deuce, LaShawn McCoy, played for the Eagles, his brother Deuce, told me not to do it. They didn't say don't do it because it's Cardi B. They said don't do concerts. There's no money in concerts.
Really?
So I got my man Cosmic Kev. He's a DJ in Philly. He does the Come Up show. Cosmic, what's up, brother? Gillian Waller was there. His guest. My man Doughboy, one of the best DJs on the planet. He was the DJ there. We had everything set up.
Yeah.
And it was in Atlantic City. It was outdoors. At this field. The problem was all the expenses to make that field look like it was inside. I'm not Live Nation. You go to a concert, you see how Live Nation do it.
Yeah,
we tried to do that. And then respectfully, we had to pay Cardi and Offset collectively. We paid them $600,000.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, and I'm the CEO of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next webinar where you can drill deeper into our bond offering. We currently offer 2 investment opportunities: a private placement bond offering for accredited investors with target annual interest rates between 9 and 13%. Also, we offer a registered bond offering open to both accredited and non-accredited investors with rates ranging from 9 to 12%. Our daily production rates have risen as high as 39,000 barrels of oil per day. We've sold more than 10 million barrels, and we're just getting started. Sign up for the webinar and start your journey with Phoenix Energy today.
Okay, I bought this house on 194 Arbor Street in Kalispell, Montana. I'm gonna make a bunch of money in cash flow, and that's cool, but it won't actually cash flow for a couple of months. My tenants just moved in after 2 months of me owning it. And honestly, real estate can be really challenging. But the one person that made money on day one is called the Gator. Somebody brought resources to my transaction. I'm the one that cold called. I'm the one that did all the wholesaling. I'm the one that did all of the stuff. And somebody else called a Gator actually made money on that deal before I did, and I'm the owner. If you want to learn how to get started in real estate, Gator is the best way to not wholesale, not have to have tenants, not have to do cold calling or any of that kind of stuff. Gator is the best place for you to get started if you don't want to deal with that stuff. I have a training coming up on Saturday. Click the link down below and I'll see you on this weekend's training.
So that was going boom, done.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
Yeah.
And again, the ticket sales weren't where they needed to be, and I take full responsibility for the ticket sales not being where they need to be, even though that wasn't my lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it happened on my watch.
Yeah,
So I take full responsibility. So it wasn't Cardi's fault, wasn't Offset's fault, Was there any other guests? We had Big Shug there. She did a great job. We even did a Tory Lanez concert, you know, and that one did better. We had a Jadakiss and Tory Lanez. That one did great.
Yeah.
But the one we did with Cardi, again, we lost money. And again, it wasn't her fault. It was 100% my fault.
I love that.
Because on my watch, and I should have prepared and marketed better.
I love the accountability, man. It takes a lot. It takes ego death to be able to admit. Because when things don't go right, all of us have been guilty of it at some time in my life. We always want to blame outside of ourselves. You know, we got to look ourselves in the mirror, man. What could I have done better? And what you said that is very key that I want you guys to catch is the planning. Because I've made my mistakes as well as too. And I allowed, this is why I'm glad we're having this conversation, because a lot of people, they undermine the power of emotional intelligence. And this is why emotional intelligence is paramount to any facet in life, especially when making money. Because I have made piss poor decisions based on my emotion of excitement. I'm just thinking about getting some money. I'm just excited. I just want to make some money.
Correct.
But I'm so high on the emotions, I'm ignoring the variables that's screaming, warning, warning, no mo, no mo. But I'm so caught in the shiny object.
Correct.
You know, the impulse purchase and things of that nature. And we all have faced it. It's okay. That's emotions. Excitement. It's no good or bad emotion. It's about controlling whichever emotion that you feel in that moment and not allow it to cloud your logic.
Absolutely.
Even if it's happiness.
Absolutely.
Giving people, want to always help people giving, that's an emotion.
Absolutely.
It can be detrimental. Something you can't always give. Because sometimes you can give your last and you can't afford to give that.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to say no. We don't understand that. So that's why, you know, am I right? Like, tell me, as a financial guru, does emotional intelligence play a huge factor in your success with your finances?
Absolutely.
Can you give us an example?
Absolutely. For example, even in this instance, some people would have been able to bounce back from that. The reason why I didn't blame, because when you blame, you live a life of shame. When you point one finger at one person, you're pointing three back at yourself.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And one in the air, just up there, you know, just up in the air.
Yeah.
So, and in that instance, you asked, how did I, what did you ask, how did I, what was the question again?
Oh, like how did emotional intelligence play a factor?
It played a big factor. My mother set a good foundation. You know, I talked about my grandmother, but now here's my mom.
Talking about my moms, yeah.
My mom started to work a program where she dived so deep into personal development, and she used to say things to my sister and I. Feelings are feelings, but they're not facts.
I love that.
She said, feelings are feelings, but they're not facts. She said, your emergency is not my emergency. My mother said, when emotions are high, logic is low. From 13, that's what my mother was saying to me. Feelings are feelings. You're going to feel something, but they ain't facts.
In fact.
They ain't feelings. You know, where emotion is high, logic is low.
And it's not justification to compromise your integrity.
That's right. That's right.
I love that.
And so my mother was very, very instrumental in planting those seeds that when I did hit pitfalls, I was like, I got to stay even keel.
Got to, bro.
Got to stay even keel.
Got to, man.
I get highs.
Yeah.
I get lows. But now this thermostat is set on even keel.
Right. And that's you just alluded to it, Rabu. The composure. We're driven off emotions. We're human.
Sure.
Emotions gives us the experience of the world around us. There's nothing wrong with emotions. Emotions are great when checked. Yeah, you might have said something that made me mad, Rabu. That doesn't give you, no matter what you said to me, that doesn't never give me the justification to put my hands on you.
Correct.
Because these are the things. I don't know if Rabu strapped. So for one, self-defense, you kill me. Two, you a law-abiding citizen. You might call the law on me. Assault charge, I go back to prison. Three, I might kill you. Now I'm going back to prison for manslaughter. Or four, you might just get on my ass. It might not go as I think it's going to go. You know, it's the desirable and undesirable outcome.
Sure.
Yeah, we want it to go this way. We think we got it, in theory, it's going to go this way, but it can go left.
It always does.
And when it
most
goes
of the
left,
time.
can you handle those consequences?
Correct.
That's why composing those emotions is so paramount, man. I tell people this. Think about it, Rabu, not to get off subject on the finance, but think about how many people died, lost their lives in the road rage incident because they couldn't handle their emotions.
Absolutely.
You go up to this man's car, rapping, trying to, this man has a right to shoot you. And he ain't doing a day in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like your mom said it perfectly. Your feelings are your feelings. You can feel that way. It's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with being mad at me, Rabu.
Right.
But it's what you do with it.
That's right.
It's how you respond to it. Now, don't do something that's going to compromise your freedom or put you in a detrimental state because, you know what I'm saying? It's consequence to every action. So big ups to your mom. Shout out to your moms, man, for saying it because I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. All right, so about to wrap it up. What advice do you have for someone who feels left behind financially?
Get over it.
Get over it.
Get over
It ain't
it.
gonna change unless you put some type of action, unless you change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't say that condescending
Mhm.
because I was so broke at times. My sister, we lived down here in Florida.
Mhm.
And my mom, at the time, money just wasn't making it to the house, right? My grandma used to send $200 a week to the crib.
Mhm.
And we used to intercept. I used to stay home from school to get it,
Yeah.
right? And we were so broke at the time that we used to jump in garbage cans at Crystals.
Wow.
We got White Castle up north.
Yeah,
Y'all got
White Castle
Crystals
up north,
down
yeah,
here. So we jump in garbage cans at Crystals and get the scratch-off boxes.
Yeah.
And scratch off and go in there and get burgers and stuff like that.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know? So I'm not that person to give you sympathy when it's something, that
You
you
can
can
change.
possibly control or change.
Yeah,
Exactly.
change.
So get over it.
Yeah. And I like that because my philosophy is something similar. I am not insensitive to anybody who has done time. But I will say this. If you going in and out of prison or you fail to complete your probation, now is it a system out there designed for us to fail? Yes. But it's still within your control to stay free. You have your own mind. Nobody on this planet Earth can coerce or force you to do anything outside of your desire. It's all about choices. Even our finances. You said it again. I want you to elaborate just a little bit on that. You keep saying $400, $400. You had a choice. You could have took that $400 and just blew it. Ah, man, you know what? But nah, I took the same $400. That's all I had in my name, and I multiplied it.
Yep.
And I want to know if you could just brief and succinctly talk about that $400.
Huh. So it was a company. For those who are part of our group, when they watch this, I never want to name the company because it's a bad company. I won't give them any press.
Mm-hmm.
We call them a raggedy ass company.
Okay.
Okay. But at the time, we were investing in them so they could make a return for us.
Mm-hmm.
And they did until they just flew off the face of the earth and just disappeared one day.
Wow.
And so I don't want to give them any props, bring any attention to them. Don't want anybody to ever look them up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I invested in them because may rest in peace. He's my IT guy at the time. His name is Russell. He called me. He's like, look, man, I just put $800 with his investment firm, and I got $800 back in 2 days. You need to do it. And I was like, man, I'm not messing with that, dog. I'm like, nah. I'm like, you good?
Yeah.
Then he kept calling me a week later. He said, yo, let's keep multiplying. I'm like, all right, let me try.
It piqued my interest.
He's my IT guy. He has access to my social security number, my bank account, everything.
you
He's doing
trust
all my stuff on the back end.
Yeah.
So I trusted him. I thought it was a bad idea,
Mm-hmm.
but I trusted him. I said, okay, I'll throw $400 at it. 400 turned to 40 million.
Moment of silence. Wow.
And not just that one. That one branched on to do so many other things, and the rest is history.
All right, Rabu. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered in the financial world?
When it's all said and done, I want to be remembered as someone who led by example. I don't do a lot of talking. As I mentioned to you, I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.
And I did it because you asked me to.
Appreciate
You asked me, do I have a PR team? No. I just now collaborated with the company because of this investment. I just joined into investment. It's a musical app called Jiggle. And it's incredible. It's going to be better than Snapchat. It's going to be better than TikTok. It's going to be better than IG. You heard it here first. So I just invested in them, invested some money, and everybody can invest. Anybody can invest in Jiggle.
I can invest right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to talk about this.
Okay. So I just invested some money in Jiggle, and it's an app where you can make music. All I have to do, open the app. It'll be, right now it's in Telegram, but it'll be on the app in the next week or so. Open the app, pick my genre of music, say a little blurb of what I want it to be. I want it to be Mo's come up show, whatever. And and it'll make the song for me. Like I got AI songs on my phone right now. They're incredible. And my own voice, they're amazing. And so this is going to be the wave of the future.
Wow.
As pertains to music. So that's something like I'm all in, 10 toes down, invested in heavily. because and I'm a part of it now. So
Yeah, got
so
skin in the game.
yeah, man.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be amazing.
Okay, so
Did that answer that question? I'm sorry.
I answered that. I answered that. How you want to be remembered? You said you want to be remembered for
leading by example.
leading by example.
Leading by
I had a
example.
brain fart. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No.
And I was thinking about that jiggle thing. It had me kind of. As you talking, I'm this computing. So I'm definitely gonna be getting with you with that, brother. But all right. So you alluded to it at the beginning, but now's the time to elaborate about your trainings, your offers, your mentorship, anything for the people.
Sure.
Where can they find them at? Where can they find you at? And when you end telling them that, please leave us with a motivational segment for somebody, a young aspiring entrepreneur, investor, working professional, all that and above. Leave them with something that can leave an indelible impression on their lives, and help them throughout their journey of success.
Okay. So I do a class called the Master Class. It's at rabugary.com. rabugary.com. Rabu, R-A-B-U, Gary, Gary.com. That's my Instagram tag as well as my Facebook, and I have 2 blue checks. The class is amazing. Thousands of people have taken it. It's the science to help you have direct success. There's a science to getting wealthy. I knew about the science for a long time. I procrastinated. Okay? But I have testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony after testimony of people taking my course and their lives has changed. I remember when I first started offering the course, I was in California with a good friend of mine named Miss Tina Lewis, and she's amazing. Look her up on Facebook. She said, "Why are you charging so little for your course?" Because at the time I was charging like $200. She said, "You need to charge $10,000." So I said, "Okay." So I started to charge $10,000 for the course, but it was a weekend course. You would come to Philly and New York. I would meet with you for 3 days. It would be 3 days of intensity, but it was $10,000. Well, that was too much time away from my family, even though I needed the $10,000 then. But it was too much time away from my family. So I put it into a course and made it $500. It's timeless because it doesn't change. It's audios, but then I add to it every once in a while. And it's a course. It is serious. And everybody who's taking this course from start to finish, they're wildly successful. Now, what I want you to do today, I didn't tell you about this. Those who go to rabugary.com, and take this course and sign up for it before January the 1st, you're going to get 20% off. So you're going to save some money there. Okay, that's number one. And I'm going to put you in a drawing. I don't know what I'm going to give away, but you will be in a drawing. I'm giving away 3 Mercedes. I like to give away stuff. My wife drives her crazy. So not only will you get 20% off, you'll get in the drawing. But this is the most important part. If you don't do this, then this doesn't count. When you register and you go to pay, you have to say Mo sent me. That's very, very, very important. Now you can pay by Zelle, Cash App, or crypto. Okay? We don't do PayPal. Zelle, Cash App, or crypto. And when you pay, and before you pay, you're going to have to register and reach out to me anyway. So we don't even take payment. You can't even pay online. You can't pay online unless we reach directly out to you and send you payment information. It's not that go, let me pay and I'm good. That doesn't happen. We connect with everybody. And sometimes we get 900 people sign up in a day because and it takes a while to get everybody signed up because it has to do this first. And that's important.
And I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, Rabu, for the
That's all
value.
good, man.
And to my audience, man, I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the Past Podcast once again, where we prevail against self-sabotage. You were your best friend, but you are also your own worst enemy. I see you on the next episode. Peace.
Yeah, I just wanna make it out for the times